Did you know? Wo-Chien's body is covered by a giant wooden tablet said to be inscribed with the sins of an ancient ruler. It's said to have come to life after being sealed away for centuries. Welcome to Build for Battle, where we take the mightiest builds, push Pokemon to their limits, and prove their place in competitive play. Today we're showcasing Wo-Chien, a bulky special attacker with the Assault Vest item and the Tablets of Ruin ability, which lowers the opponent's attack on entry. Its moveset covers a wide range of threats. Giga Drain for reliable stab and healing against Pokemon like Gastrodon, Dondozo, and Great Tusk. Dark Pulse hits Ghost and Psychic types such as Dragapult, Slowking, and Goldengo pretty hard. Leaf Storm nukes bulky water and ground types like Tinglu, Quagsire, and Rotom Wash. And finally, Terra Blast Fire melts steel and grass threats including Corviknight, Scizor, and Bramblegast. With max HP and special attack EVs, Wo-Chien balances toughness and offense, while Assault Vest boosts its special bulk. One build, two battles, let's show what Wo-Chien can really do. Before we dive in, check out the Pokemon Battle Hub Discord. It's free and full of trainers ready to battle and share ideas. So without further ado, let's jump into the first battle. So looking at our first opponent, Reese's team, I decided to go with the Landorus Therian lead. I wanted to get the Stealth Rocks up straight away. It also can't be Thunder Wave by the Klefki. You can hit that with a nice Earthquake. And especially the Iron Treads as well. If they let Iron Treads get the rocks up, I'd Earthquake that thing, unless it was Air Balloon. So that's the game plan. Lead with Landorus T and just kind of wing it from there. And the battle begins. So Reese is going to lead off with Swindle the Swampert. Nice and shiny, gotta love it. We lead off with our Hammerhead, the Landorus Therian. Obviously the Intimidate's going to come into effect here, which is absolutely fantastic. So this turn I'm going to be ballsy and I'm going to go for a Taunt, just to try and stop this thing from going for a Stealth Rocks, see what they want to do there. And they actually decided to go for an Avalanche, which does do a lot of damage to us, but because we didn't attack it, it wasn't doubled in power. And they're going to get some Rocky Helmet chip as well. Avalanche is a weird one. So this next turn I'm going to go for a U-turn. We go for the U-turn, it's going to do a bit of chip to the Swampert. If they go for an Avalanche here, it's definitely going to hurt us, or at least one member of our team. So I'm thinking, I decided, you know what, we're going to go into Inteleon. Inteleon can definitely take an Avalanche or a Liquidation, as they do actually go for a Liquidation, which is going to do a little bit of damage, nothing too drastic, and it lowers our defense. So if they go for an Earthquake here, we are kind of boned. Also, it's good to note that I have U-turn on this Inteleon, but I actually changed that to Flip Turn for the next game, so... just to pre-warn you. So I went for a Snipe Shot. They did have the Mirror Coat, and they were definitely a Assault Vest. And by the way, they took that Choice Spec Snipe Shot, so that threw me off, but really good play by them. And they shake off the Taunt as well. Not that it matters if they're Assault Vest, you know? So I figured I'd go into Zero the second, which is my Ceruledge, just to scare this thing out with whatever I want to do. So I figured they were going to switch out here or attack us with a move that can't KO us because we've got the Focus Sash. As they do withdraw the Swampert as predicted, which is fantastic. And we get a free Swords Dance. They go into Sentinel. Now, Sentinel being their Gliscor is a bit problematic because this thing is very bulky, obviously. We go for that Swords Dance, so our Focus Sash is still intact. We could easily take on this Gliscor in a 1v1 situation, no problem. It'd be absolutely fine, to be honest with you. Well, the Toxicorp is going to pop, and now they are ready to heal up, pretty much. I decided to go for a Bitter Blade here, just because I figured they'd do a lot of damage. But Poltergeist would have definitely KO'd there, to be fair, looking at the damage now. They go for a Knockoff. That's going to get rid of our Focus Sash. Not that it matters, because we get that Weak Armor, which is going to boost our speed and lower our defense, which is fantastic. Decided to just go straight for another Bitter Blade. They did withdraw the Gliscor here, wanting to preserve it a bit longer, which makes a lot of sense. And they go into Azure Blitz, which is a really cool nickname for a Chandelure, I will say. Bitter Blade's not going to work, with it being a Flash Fire Pokemon, of course, but we are at +2 speed, so we can go for that Poltergeist if you want to, and hopefully they don't Terra, but I think they do Terra here, to be honest with you. They are going to Terra, yes, I remembered right. Okay, cool. So what type do they Terra into, though? A Grass type. Yes, I remember now. It's a Grass type Chandelure. So a bit of Grass type with the Flash Fire immunity is definitely something that you could like pull off really well. So we go for the Poltergeist anyway, but even with that Grass typing, making it neutral, +2, still going to KO, I'm afraid. So Ceruledge is putting in the absolute work right now. I don't actually see how my opponent can get around this, to be honest with you. And I don't really see, you're probably thinking, where's Wo-Chien fit into all this? Well, trust me, at the end, it does goated work. Key to my heart comes in, that is going to be the Klefki, nice and shiny, of course, like gold texture to it. So, obviously, I don't want to get paralyzed. I would like to use a Ceruledge, but I'm just going to go for the Bitter Blade anyway. They did go for the Thunder Wave. We're just going to paralyze the Ceruledge, so that speed boost is null and void, pretty much. We still outspeed a lot of the defensive mons, but we go for a Bitter Blade anyway. That's going to definitely KO the Klefki and gives a nice chunk of health back. So Ceruledge is actually putting in the work right now. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, again, you're probably thinking, where does Wo-Chien sit into this? Well, trust me, it's coming. Vivia comes in, which is going to be the Hydreigon. So, Hydreigon, unfortunately for you, you're going to have to go down here to a close combat. Let's see what they do. So, they go for a Focus Energy, which is definitely a misplay on my opponent's behalf. They should have gone for that Dark Pulse or the Crunch if they're a physical one. We couldn't move, though, because we got fully paralyzed. And this is where Cerulege meets its end, I believe. So, we go for a close combat. They missed the Draco Meteor. I forgot about that. And Cerulege is able to get the KO on the Hydreigon with close combat. Now, this is looking like a Cerulege video, right? But trust me. Wo-Chien comes in and does stuff. Don't worry. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, it's coming, alright? It's coming. So Hydreigon goes down, and I think Reese at this point is thinking, oh, I shouldn't have gone for Focus Energy there. I should have just gone for a Dark Pulse or something. But I could have Terra, to be fair. So Danganronpa's going to come in. That's going to be the Iron Treads. This thing can definitely take us down. It's got an Air Balloon as well. All it needs to do is go for an Earthquake. But I'm going to go for that Bitter Blade just in case we can pull it off. But no, the Earthquake does come through, and that is going to take out the Cerulege. So Cerulege definitely put some dents in the team. But you know what? Pokemon is a team game. I can't just do a video where Wo-Chien just sweeps through an entire team. He's got to feature the whole team, you know what I mean? So we're going to get into Wo-Chien now, though. That's the thing. So we're going to bait a Ice Spinner here, or a knockoff, whichever one. We get that Tablets of Ruin, which lowers their attack, so we can definitely live at Earthquake, even if we Terra, and they predict that. But looking at that team, I think we're going to be all right. So I'm going to go ahead and Terra, and then get that Terra Blast Fire. So there we go. We're going to go for that Terrestrialization, turning our Wo-Chien into a Fire type. I love Wo-Chien. I love its shiny. It's shiny so good. I mean, look at the red leaves. They're awesome. So anyway, it really suits the Fire as well, which is awesome. So Fire is here. They do go for a Rapid Spin, probably expecting either a Leech Seed there or just get a Speed Boost, probably. We go for that Terra Blast, though, and I'm afraid that Wo-Chien is not messing around. We go for that Terra Blast, and down goes the Iron Treads. Even with just like a measly base, whatever it is, special attack. Still going down, I'm afraid. All right, Sentinel's coming back in. That is going to be the Gliscor. Can Gliscor pull this back for them? So I'm going to go ahead and go straight for that Giga Drain. Just get a bit of health back if we need it later, for against a Swampert, for example. And they go for that EQ. It is, unfortunately for them, not going to KO Wo-Chien. I don't think that's a 2 KO. I think that, yeah, it's after Giga Drain. It's definitely not a 2 KO. So Giga Drain's going to get some health back, which is fantastic, and down goes the Gliscor. It's a little Wo-Chien cleanup for the first game. You've got to have a little bit of a cleanup with one of the Pokemon you're making a video about, especially when it's not a setup sweeper, and it's just a Wo-Chien with an Assault Vest. In comes Swindle, which is, of course, the Swampert, nice and shiny, with a minuscule amount of HP. Obviously, we know if it even had full HP, we'd still KO it with a Leaf Storm right now. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Leaf Storm comes through, decimates that Swampert's life. Never before has a Swampert been hurt so much, and that is going to be the game. So GG Restart was a pretty fun one. It was quick, but it was fun, and Wo-Chien did something, so we'll take those. Okay, so Cody brought a really cool team with a Grimmsnarl, a Wo-Chien of his own, which is awesome. The Donphan's a great Rapid Spinner. I do like Donphan a lot. Cerulege, we're matching a little bit here. The Primarina and the Okidogi. Never sleep on Okidogi. Never sleep on Okidogi, alright? But anyway, game plan, lead with Persian, fake out, all that wonderful stuff. Probably going to see a Grimmsnarl lead. If we do, we'll just try to take it from there. Maybe go into Wheezing and defog those away. Let's see how he goes on. And the battle begins. So Cody's going to lead off with Dayaka, which is the Donphan, nice and shiny. I led off with Persian, of course, as we said in the team preview. My main goal here is to go for a fake out, and maybe even go for a knockoff, get rid of a potential Rocky Helmet on this thing. Let's see how it goes. So I decided to go for the fake out, like I said, and it's going to do a bit of damage to Donphan, more than I thought it would. Flinch them, of course, and then we realized they're not the Rocky Helmet, so I decided to go for a U-turn here, get out of there. Well, why not? Because I'm more than likely going to go for a Stealth Rocks or something, unless they're Assault Vest or something along those lines. So we're going to go ahead and switch out into our Inteleon. Inteleon seems like the best Pokemon to deal with this Donphan. Snipe Shot with a Choice Specs will definitely KO them, even if they're Assault Vested, and then they knock me off. So now I'm not Choice Specs. I'm no longer a big threat like that. But looking at their squad, I'd say the obvious choice here would be the Primarina switch, so I decided to go for a Flip Turn. They do, in fact, withdraw their Donphan. They don't want to take a Snipe Shot to the face, which makes a lot of sense. And they're going to go into the Primarina as predicted, which is great. So I made the right play for a change. Nice and shiny. We go for that Flip Turn, get on out of there. Does minimal damage, as you would expect. It's mainly there for utility, not damage, so I'm not really bothered about the damage output of Flip Turn. So I decided to bring in Cerulege. Cerulege definitely threatens the Primarina with a Poltergeist. They can't really Terra out of it either, because they may Terra into a Steel type usually. So I'm going to go ahead and anticipate a switch here. However, I decided to just stay in and go for a Poltergeist, and they missed. I mean, we missed. Very annoying. They go for that Hyper Voice, which is clearly a Liquid Voice variant. And that's, of course, going to take us right down to our Sash, unfortunately. So, Ceruledge not looking like you're doing much today, buddy. But I'm going to try and go for another Poltergeist, I believe. And we'll see what the Pre-Marine is going to do. They withdraw the Pre-Marina, though, expecting a Poltergeist more than likely. And they're going to go into their good old-fashioned Grimmsnarl, who can definitely take a Poltergeist, get some screens up, all that wonderful stuff. So, nice and shiny Grimmsnarl comes in. We go for that Poltergeist. It works this time. We find out that Light Clay, so they're definitely a screen set. Sometimes you get offensive Grimmsnarl. That does a lot of damage as well, which is insane. So, I figured, you know what, they'll probably go for a screen here, so I'll set up a Swords Dance. But they actually went for a Sucker Punch. So, we go for a Swords Dance here, which is fantastic. Now we're just going to see what they're going to do. Hopefully, in the best case scenario, they don't go for another Sucker Punch, they go for a Reflect or something, which they do in fact do, which is fantastic. So Reflect is up, but we're at +2 attack, and this Bitter Blade's still going to sting. So we go for that Bitter Blade, it takes it right down to nearly KO'd, and it gives us a nice chunk of health back, which is always really nice. Now, can we take a Sucker Punch from this range? Let's try and find out. So I go for a Swords Dance. They did in fact go for a Sucker Punch again, so I was a bit like, okay, do I go for another Swords Dance here? And this is always my weak spot. The Sucker Punch mind games are always a weak spot for me. I decided to go for a Bitter Blade this turn, thinking they would not Sucker Punch, but they did Sucker Punch, which is awesome. So the Ceruledge unfortunately goes down here, but it's not the end of the world. They got a Reflect up, but they didn't get a Light Screen. A Light Screen is what we need for Wo-Chien. So we're going to get Persian now, Cash Nip over here, and the game plan is go for a Fake Out, take out the Grimmsnarl with the Fake Out before we can get Light Screen up, and then just kind of go from there. And they did withdraw the Grimmsnarl though, because they're trying to preserve it for later, which makes a lot of sense. So Persian, you're unfortunately going to Fake Out an Okie Dokie, as Okie Dokie comes in, like so. We go for that Fake Out, and that is going to do a minimal damage to the Okie Dokie. So I'm wondering what this thing wants to do to us. I really am. I can't really keep Persian in here though, because they're going to get hit by a Close Combat or a Drain Punch or something, so I go for a U-turn. So the U-turn comes through, it's going to do no damage obviously, it is 4 times resisted and they've got Reflect up, so Cash Nip, come on back. Let's see what we can do to deal with this Okie Dokie now. Best thing I could think at the time was the Galarian Wheezing, yes sir. And they go for a knockoff, which is going to get rid of our leftovers, but I'm pretty confident we win the 1v1 against this Okie Dokie, because we can go for a Will-O-Wisp or a Strange Steam or something along those lines and get some damage off on it. So I decided to go for a Strange Steam, predicting a Ceruledge switch, since we do have the Will-O-Wisp obviously, and they do in fact go to 0, which is a really cool name for a Ceruledge if I do say so myself. Nice and shiny. We go for that Strange Steam, breaking a potential Sash, which is awesome, although if they have Bitter Blade, it's not going to really matter. So the fact that they brought that in, well, they're just not afraid of Will-O-Wisp, obviously, so. Anyway, predicting a Swords Dance or a Poltergeist, I decided to go into my Cash Nip over here, the Persian. So Persian comes in, and they did go for a Swords Dance, but they can't hit us with Shadow Sneak, and they don't outspeed us. So we've got a good opportunity here to go for a Thunder Wave, reveal that move, and cripple this Ceruledge before it can do any serious damage. But unfortunately, we missed. You can see where this game's going, right? Bitter Blade comes through, cleanly takes out Persian, restoring a potential Focus Sash with the health regeneration from Bitter Blade. And now we're in a bit of a pickle, because this Ceruledge, like the first game, is going to go rampant on our team. Let's see if we can stop it, though. Right, Landorus is going to have to come in here, which is what I do. We get the Intimidate off, all that wonderful stuff. Lower that attack down to 1 stage up instead of 2 stages. And we'll just go for a Earthquake. Earthquake will definitely nearly take out the Ceruledge, that's for sure. So we go for the Earthquake. It's going to basically take out the Ceruledge if it's not sashed. And it's not sashed, so I was pretty buzzing about that, to be honest with you. Pretty buzzing about that. So Ceruledge going down there is amazing. We didn't have to worry about it going rampant for our team like it did in the first game when, well, it was my Ceruledge that went rampant. All right, Grimmsnarl's coming in now. Grimmsnarl is an interesting choice here, so we've got a couple of options. We can go straight for an Earthquake, let them set up a Reflect, or we can go for a Stealth Rock and gamble on it. They did go for the Reflect, and when I say gamble, I mean because they could have Taunt. But we get the Stealth Rocks up, which is great. So now we're going to get some nice chip damage on whatever they bring in, if they bring anything in, which is always nice to see. So now I decided to go for a U-turn. They did get the Light Screen up, which is unfortunate. And you know what? I decided, you know what? I've just got the Stealth Rocks up, but you know what? I'm not bothered about the Stealth Rocks, to be honest with you. I want to get rid of those screens, because otherwise we're not going to get anywhere fast with this game. So I'm going to bring in, yes sir, the Galarian Wheezing, to go for a defog, of course, against whatever they decide to bring in. To which they bring in their own Wo-Chien, which is nice and shiny. You gotta love it. So Wo-Chien comes in and gets hurt by the Stealth Rocks, which is good. A bit of chip, never hurt anyone. Tablet of Ruins, not bothered about that. I'm a special attacker more than anything. I'm gonna go for a defog. So they decide to go for a Terrestrialization. Now, I was a bit concerned about what Terrestrialization we would see on the Wo-Chien, but we end up seeing Poison, which is pretty cool to be fair. You can't Toxic it can Leech Seed you and do all that wonderful stuff. It's a pretty good Terra for the, I'm assuming it's a Leech Seed set. they go for the Ruination, which does exactly 50% of your remaining HP. If you didn't know. So we go for the defog and we clear away those screens. Unfortunately, we clear away the Stealth Rocks, but we do have the Landorus T in the back, which can go for the Stealth Rocks again if we really want it to. So with the screens down, we're looking all right here. So we went for a Will-O-Wisp here. They actually decided to withdraw the Wo-Chien, and they're going to go into their Dayako, which is the Donphan, I believe. Yes, the Donphan comes in nice and shiny. Gotta love it. We go for that Will-O-Wisp. We do connect, which is nice. So we've got a nice burn on the Donphan, which is always appreciated, I will say. Definitely always appreciated. So with Donphan burn, we can now really switch anything we want in, really, provided it doesn't get a crit. Decided to go for a Strange Steam, get some chip off on the Donphan, why not? It does a nice chunk of damage, to be fair, as they go for a knockoff, getting rid of our leftovers, which is very unfortunate, but it is what it is. So the burn is going to take effect on the Donphan. I'm pretty confident it's Assault Vest now based on the damage that I was doing, but I'm still going to stay in and just go for the Strange Steam. It's not like they can go for an Earthquake on us or anything like that, so I'm pretty confident in this outcome. They go for an Ice Shard to get some extra chip, which is fair enough. We go for the Strange Steam. That's going to do enough to 2-hit KO them from the remaining HP. To be fair, enough to 1-hit KO them. No, I could 1-hit KO them with a Tackle right now. So I'm going to go for a Sludge Bomb this turn, just in case they decided to switch out into whatever they wanted to go into. We could potentially got the poison on something if they switched out, but no, they do stay in an Ice Shard. I knew Sludge Bomb would KO anyway, so it didn't really matter in that regard. And in comes the Primarina. That was the main thing I was expecting to come in. So Primarina in now. We can pretty much do whatever we want with our Galarian Weezing. So I decided to stay in and go for a Sludge Bomb just to get the damage off. We get some nice damage off. We also don't get the poison, which is a rarity. And they go for that Hyper Voice, which is going to go ahead and take us out. So that's unfortunate, but this is where we bring in the GOAT, the Wo-Chien. Nice and shiny. You've just got to love it. Look at that thing. Tablet Room is going to activate, not that it really matters against a special attacker like Primarina, and I'm pretty confident we outspeed here, so what I'm going to do is just going to go for a Giga Drain. They did actually withdraw the Primarina here. What are they going to go to again? I can't remember what they bring in. Okie dokie, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So Okie dokie comes in, we go for that Giga Drain, no damage, pretty much, it is resisted, and this thing probably specially defensive, as you'll see later. So I decided, you know what, we're just going to go into our Landorus. Landorus takes care of this thing pretty well. We go for the Intimidate, we get lower its attack, all that wonderful stuff. Now, it could have the hidden ability Guard Dog, I believe, which can make it immune to Intimidate, but the normally Toxic Chain, as they go for a Bulk Up, which is absolutely terrifying, to say the least. This thing's got scary real quick, so how am I going to get out of this one? First things first, I'm going to go for a Taunt, stop it from going for any more Bulk Ups, because Bulk Ups are going to be the bane of my existence, and they actually decided to go for a Ice Punch. They have Ice Punch, and unfortunately it nearly KOs me. And it freezes me. The freeze is kind of clutch here because the Earthquake would have definitely done a lot of damage to them. It also means they would have had to attack me again to get Rocky Helmet damage. So the Earthquake plus 2 Rocky Helmet damages would have made it okay for me. You'll see later on. So obviously we're still frozen solid. There was no way I was going to 4 out straight away. It just doesn't happen to me. Never happens to me. There you go for that Drain Punch to get a little bit of HP back, as well as the Rocky Helmet chip, of course. And there we go, we are golden. So let's go ahead and see what they do next. So down goes the Landorus Fairy, unfortunately, frozen in place, as you would expect. So I decided, you know what, we're going to go into one-shot the Inteleon. Now, unfortunately, we do not have our choice specs anymore, so we are no longer a threat. But I'm going to go ahead and try my hardest to take this thing out, or at least get as much damage off as possible with a Snipe Shot. So we go for that Snipe Shot. It's going to do a lot of damage. Not really. It does no damage. They go for a Drain Punch. That's going to KO my Inteleon. And this is why I said earlier about the Earthquake. If the Earthquake had hit, if we didn't get frozen, we might have been alright. To be fair, I shouldn't have even taunted. I should have just EQ'd twice. Or tried to EQ twice. I would have got frozen the second time, obviously. And now in comes Wo-Chien. Let's see if Wo-Chien can pull this back for us. If Wo-Chien can pull this back for us, then I'd be pretty happy with this game. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the game anyway. I already know the outcome, obviously, so... They have a Primarina and an Okie Dokie left, as well as another Pokemon. I'm going to go ahead and Terastallize into a Fire type straight away, just so that I'm not weak to the Drain Punch or the Gunk Shot that could be coming our way. So nice and Terrafire on the Wo-Chien, as you can see, all crystallized, looking awesome. You've got to love it. It really suits the shiny form as well, like really suits the shiny form. So there's the Terastallization into a Fire type. They go for a knockoff, getting rid of our Assault Vest. It doesn't do much damage thanks to the Tablets of Ruin, even with a Bulk Up, and we go for that Terra Blast, which is going to definitely sting the Okie Dokie a little bit, right? Not so much. Not so much. That's not enough damage for my likings. Fortunately, the The Terra Blast is doing a little bit more than they can recover with the Drain Punch, as you'll see. So we can kind of get around this okie dokie, but let's see how it goes. So Drain Punch comes through, bit of damage, nothing too drastic. Recovers a smidge of their HP. And then we just go for another Terra Blast Fire pretty much. So Terra Blast Fire comes through. And this time, we're going to get a massive crit. No, I'm joking. I wish we got a crit here. That'd be nice. It'd make up for the freeze and the miss and all that stuff earlier, but no crits on our end. Wo-Chien, you're letting me down big time, buddy, here. So they go for another Drain Punch. Obviously, it's going to do a bit of damage, recover a bit of their health, which is absolutely fine by me. I'm doing more damage than you can recover, but they get the Toxic Chain. And that's where we found out it was a Toxic Chain. Well, I mean, we knew it was a Toxic Chain because Intimidate worked earlier, but just can't catch my breath for this game, to be honest with you. So we go for that Terra Blast. It's going to do a nice chunk of damage to them, which is awesome, I guess. But we are toxic, so I'm not really in the best position, to be honest with you. So Poison's going to come into effect. Let's see if Wo-Chien can at least defeat this Okie Dokie in time. It is nice. Oh, they actually go for a knockoff here, which knocks off our item. Yeah, I would have gone for a Drain Punch there just to get the damage off, but I mean, I'll take everything I can get. So we go for that Terra Blast, which is able to get the KO on the Okie Dokie. But now we have a Primarina, which probably outspeeds us, and also their own Wo-Chien, which is a Poison type right now. And they decide to bring in the Wo-Chien. So we're going to end the video with two Wo-Chiens on screen, two shiny Wo-Chiens with different sets. You gotta love it. Let's go for that Terra Blast. So they go for a Body Press, outspeeding us, probably a speed tie, and that's going to KO my Wo-Chien. And that's going to be the game. So GG Cody, that was a really fun one. We got to show an L every now and then, right? And Wo-Chien's one of them Pokemons that you usually get the L on, so GG.